Hamilton, thank you so much for being with me today.
No worries.
Make it. You all well?
Yeah, not too bad. Doing all right, getting through it. About
the first disabled athlete to compete in the British Touring Car Championship.
Yeah.
What did that mean to you? And also, I think more interesting, well, maybe not, but kind of what surprised you about that?
Well, firstly, I'm not surprised about it. Reason why is because I have a very determined attitude. My condition, basically affected my life massively growing up. Didn't really understand who I was, why I was the way I was, and I had no real direction. And obviously, motorsport runs in the family, and I got my opportunity to drive for the first time. It didn't go very well. Then I was stuck going to school and bullied and everything like that. And I was in this wheelchair. Been in this wheelchair for 5 years, and I needed a purpose, a reason to get out of it. And so I asked my dad to put me in a race car, and he said yes. And now I was 18 and understood who I was, been through everything in my life, and it gave me that purpose. It gave me that reason to get out of my wheelchair and focus on my condition. And the more I focused on my motorsport, the better my condition became. And then I realized that I could be a disabled person racing in an able-bodied world, basically a Paralympian in the Olympics, as I like to say. And
yeah.
And so, getting to the pinnacle of British motorsport was my target, was my goal. And yeah, I'm pretty strong mentally when it comes to my condition. So yeah, I mean, it means a lot to me because I've proved everybody wrong, including the doctors. But I'm not surprised because I just have a lot of belief in myself when it comes to my condition, and I know what I can achieve.
But when you sat in the car for the first time, and the first few times, was it you wanted to drive, or was it you wanted to reach the pinnacle? Kind of what was the aim?
Yeah, no, it was just to drive.
Right.
Initially I started in the Renault Clio Cup, which was actually the toughest one make series in the UK. So it's a step down from the British Touring Cars. It's basically on the undercard of the British Touring Car Championship. So when I first started, it's just because I wanted to race, and I always wanted to race. I never saw myself reaching the pinnacle of British motorsport. It was just one of those progressions, really. And I think what sparked my desire to get to the pinnacle of British motorsport is because everything is about funding and support, and there's more partners, there's more value, there's more money in the pinnacle of British motorsport, and there was history to be created, history to be made. And I set my sights on that in 2015, becoming the first disabled athlete in the series, which is a valuable part. And then and now I'm the first disabled athlete to score points in the series, which is another valuable part. And eventually I'll be the first disabled athlete to win a race or get a podium. So you just got to play to your strengths. And being in the main championship, the main stage, it's harder to get there because you have to raise more funds and more money. But the more I work on my brand as a person as well.
Okay, so I've got to ask, how's the last year been for you? Kind of how has lockdown treated you, and what have you learned from it?
Maybe like most people, I've realized, a lot of family time, a lot of time being around your loved ones, because you're pretty much stuck with them. But you learn to get on with them well, So I actually did lockdown with my girlfriend and her parents, which was interesting.
Yes.
Mixing a relationship, a relationship with your girlfriend with the parents and the way they live, that can be quite stressful at times. So I spent a good 8-9 months with those guys, but they were very welcoming, so I was very grateful. And then I just realized that when everyone's busy and thinking about work and money and goals and targets, none of it actually really matters. What matters is your family and to be around everybody and trying to just be there for one another. So I learned a lot in that sense, I would say. My condition, I would say, suffered through it because I wasn't able to do physiotherapy or chiropractor or anything like that. And the more I trained and put stress on my body, the more it affected it as well. So my condition definitely took a back seat, and it was probably worse off. But yeah, we're back at it almost. You know, we're nearly there. We're nearly through the woods.
You also launched the first race academy for disabled drivers.
Yeah, with Team Brit. They're a great organization, great bunch of people, and yeah, I'm sure I was so happy to be a part of it. You know, I champion disability as much as possible. As much as I try and steer my own direction in terms of my career. And you know, I don't race for disabled people. I don't race for anybody other than myself. But realizing that I can inspire people at the same time is a bonus. And you know, if I can help by being a part of an academy and creating more opportunities for disabled people, then I was all for it. So I was glad that I was able to share my 50 pence piece.
And do you think it's progressive and it's good and it's setting itself the right goals and aims?
For sure. I think the people behind Team Brit are doing it in the right way. They have some great partners. They have some great drivers as well, you know, coming from loads of different areas of life. And that's the whole point. You're meant to show that motorsport is accessible for anybody, because as an industry it is very inaccessible. For me, being, you know, pretty much the only black person in the paddock at British touring cars, you know, the only disabled person as well, you know, it's so difficult to see motorsport as an accessible industry. And hopefully through that academy, through Team Brit, who are racing in the Brit Car Championship, you know, is trying to open up more doors for disabled people and just people in general who feel that motorsport isn't that accessible. So I'm just trying to do my bit.
But you mentioned before, obviously, when you are racing, you're racing for yourself, and you've got to be focused on yourself. How do you get the mindset right over the balance of what you're trying to what you're doing for yourself alongside the responsibility?
Well, initially, I don't like to use the saying because I don't necessarily believe it, but I became a role model by just being me, by just doing what I do and following my love and my dream for the sport. So I don't necessarily feel that I need to do anything specific. You know, at the end of the day, I just have to keep getting in my car and driving it as fast as I can and following my dream in that sense. And it will always be shown and seen in different lights, whether it's a positive or a negative. But I think what I need to, now, you know, I'm getting more well known and my story is getting more known. You know, it's how I carry myself off circuit. Motorsport is a very selfish industry. You have to be super selfish. It's almost like, you know, don't care about anybody else. It's just me. But I think you have to be selfish in the car when you're competing, for sure. And then as time has gone on, I've realized I need to give myself more to people. And by helping myself, I have to help others as well. And I've learned in that sense a lot. And so I think I have a really good balance now where, you know, I have time for a lot of people, you know, but I make sure that I'm as selfish as I can be when I'm in my race car, which is what it's all about when you compete with someone.
So if you were to give a bit of advice to an audience who are looking to the future and they're looking to aspire to achieve something extraordinary for themselves, give us some advice. Help me out.
My first thing would be, well, if you can see greatness in other people, then you're already great yourself. And if you already want to achieve something in the future, then I feel like you've already achieved a lot already before you even start thinking about the future. My main thing is to be yourself 1000%. Never judge anybody next to you, because you never know when you're going to need them, or you never know what they can achieve. So you should never make anyone feel smaller than you or worse off than you. And then lastly, I would say my motto with life is, or belief is, that life is 10% physical, 90% mental. So it doesn't really matter how physically strong you are, physically fit you are, if you're not open to understanding that mental health is not an issue or something you need to work on, then you'll never achieve your full potential. So I'd say understand that every day that goes past, it's okay not to be okay sometimes. It's okay to work on yourself mentally, because that's where you get stronger as an individual, and any obstacles that you have struggled with in the past are just a way of building yourself as a character, and you should always open yourself to almost receiving disappointment and struggles, because that builds you for the future. For when another obstacle comes in your way, it'll be a lot easier for you to overcome and achieve.
Nick Hamilton, on those inspiring words, and really kind of thank you so much indeed for your time. As always, love speaking to you.
Thanks.
Cheers.